Hello out there, and welcome to episode 148 of the Michael vs. Jason Horrorcast, where we love to bicker, argue, and debate all things horror, mainly one movie chosen at the end of each episode by the Devil's Wheel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And Jason, back-to-back victories to kick off the year. Jason basically answers a question for us that I never knew that I'd ask, and that was, what would you do if you took, I don't know, like a young Jennifer Connelly, you mixed it with a old Donald Pleasance, you have Dario Argento direct this thing, and then, I mean, for shits and giggles, let's just throw in a chimpanzee. So if you don't know what movie I'm talking about, stand in line. I didn't either. This is Phenomena from 1985, and spoiler alert, we're going to ruin the shit out of this movie here very shortly. So if you haven't seen it, it is 38, 39-ish years old at this. You probably weren't going to watch it anyway. We did it for you. But as always, I'm your host, Mike. And joining me, members 2 and 3, we got Jason and Kirk. What's going on, gentlemen?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
It's an Italian movie, right? No, it's a Swiss movie. No, it's a German movie.
It's all over the place. It's all of them. I think it's the Swiss Alps, though, so it's definitely Swiss.
And I think Donald Pleasance has like an Irish accent
Yes.
for what I gather. But we will dive into all things Phenomena, and stay tuned because I cannot wait to hear Jason's 30-second plot synopsis coming very shortly. But before we can get into any of that, it's...
Pardon the terror time. All right, guys. So this week, we're all about in the news. So the news stories that caught our interest, the news stories that we thought were interesting, and we're just going to go round the horn several times, bounce them off each other, probably do a little reactions and what we thought about what's in the news currently. And this isn't what's in the news this week. It's just in general, probably over the last month, what we've seen that's interesting to us. So I want to start this one because there's a couple ones on here that I thought were pretty interesting, but Blumhouse is doing a remake of Speak No Evil.
Yes.
The date is being pushed back to September 13th, so it's a Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Trying to cock block actual Friday the 13th if they want to try to come up with something there. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that for a fact. But what is your guys' thoughts on Speak No Evil, an American version?
I don't know. I don't know. So, it's like,
It's rated R, I heard, right?
Yeah.
We heard it's
That's
rated
the
R.
good news
Yeah.
is it's rated R, because when you hear Blumhouse, you don't think rated R,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I mean, they've done good things with some remakes in the past, obviously, with Halloween and stuff like that. Actually, not really a remake. I guess it's just, a retelling of the continued story, I guess. But I don't know. It's this, like some of these other foreign version movies, I think should just be left alone. I think this might be one of those that should be left alone.
Jay, I know what Mike thinks, but Jay, did you like the original?
I did.
Yeah,
See,
I know Mike loves it.
I
did.
love this movie, and I agree with Jason. I think we all know, like, look at Inside is the best example, but Martyrs, any of these movies that are amazing and they're bloody and they're just over the top when they're foreign, and then we Americanize, like, dumb it down. But with them keeping it rated R, it gives me, and this isn't one of those movies that's like a Martyrs or an Inside. So I'm very excited for this. That's all I'll say. I'm very excited.
That should be interesting because I wasn't the biggest fan of the original. I came in with pretty high expectations. Mike kind of boosted it up for me, but then keeping it rated R, if they can get some, I don't know, it needs something more for me. So maybe I'm going to throw a maybe in there. Mike, what's your first hot topic in the news?
Hot topic. So my first hot topic here is I'm not sure if you guys saw this. Anaconda is being remade.
Anaconda.
My Anaconda don't want none, but they do. They do want some on this one. It didn't give a release date. It's on the way is what's being told. So if you're a fan of the original, Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, none of them are probably going to be in it. But John
Voight.
Voight, yes.
John Voight. What I read too about that is it's supposed to be meta.
Yes.
So maybe they watched the movie and now it's actually happening. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I know what meta means, but I don't know what that means for the Anaconda.
Well, as long as they're not bringing back David Hasselhoff for this one, I'm okay with it.
Well, you never know. You never know.
I'd like to see John Voight again. That character was
He was really good.
Yeah.
Jay, what's in the top of your news?
So, top of my news. So, did you see that the Saw franchise is getting a 10-movie 20th anniversary Blu-ray set coming out later on this year? That's supposed to have the entire enchilada in there, a lot of new extras, some new.
So it's number 10 for the 20th anniversary.
Mm-hmm. It's a 10.
Okay.
It's a 10. Like
Yes.
all 10 movies
Set.
are in there. Yeah.
All 10
Yeah.
10 boxes.
Now, if it comes out,
Oh,
if it comes out too late, there's going to be an 11th out later this year.
Well, you know damn well it's
yeah.
going to come out right when the 11th one comes
it
out.
should.
That's just how they do it. That way you have to go
I'm
and
gonna
buy the
market
next
it that
one
way.
next year. So, but yeah,
Saw
It
Resurrection.
looks interesting. I wasn't the biggest fan of X, but some of the early ones I really dug, and it was some of the early on gore porn, right? So before some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Another one I saw, Mike, this is more kind of a reaction from you, but Godzilla Minus One is set for a re-release in America, but in black and white.
No, I don't see the fixation with black and white, because what makes, especially Godzilla, what makes Godzilla is the effects and seeing it. And they did such a great job. Why would you cancel all that out black and white? Like
the thinking is that it's a throwback type design of a movie, to where give it back to when the originals started coming out, give you that same type of cinematic.
Yeah,
feel.
that's great. Maybe we should listen to 8-tracks on the way there, and then it should come out as a VCR release, and you know what I mean? Like
You're talking me and Jason's language here. So
hey, that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, let's do it. VHS, 8-track, let's go, baby.
You would. Well, listen.
Well,
I'm not going to hate on Godzilla. It was a great movie. I just think you lose a lot of the characteristics that made it awesome.
Sounds like they're just trying to do what they did before.
What, make more money?
So here's the thing. I'll agree with you, Mike, because I know it's just going to be a black and white filter, and it's not going to be that black and white graininess that those old original feel, that rustic feel. It's just going to be some weird black and white filter thrown over top. So it's not. It's just going to wash out the colors is all they're doing.
Can I say this real quick? What would be really cool if they did it is if they did the black and white, but anytime Godzilla does his Ray and things like that, it has the color to it. Kind of do a mix mosh. I think that would be badass. Be like retro Godzilla.
Well, let's speaking of badass, A Quiet Place. So the new one is obviously coming out. It's going to be called Day One, and it basically is a prequel to the original movie, showing how it kind of all shook out, even though they kind of allude to it in the second one. But the problem with this one, it's being touted as a drama now. So
not a horror. They said it's not a horror movie.
So I think this is I don't know if it's gonna fall in the horror realm. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But yeah, a drama. I don't know how I feel.
Taming
about this.
of the Prude.
Think? Yeah. It's
all I know is John Krasinski died in one, and I haven't watched number two.
Well,
number two is good.
It's actually really good.
It's
really good.
I appreciate. There's Cillian Murphy's in it. I love Cillian Murphy. There's a lot of good things in there.
It's got Emily Blunt in it. That's
enough said.
Krasinski's wife,
who's married to
John Krasinski, who directed it, right? So I mean, it's still
who wrote it. The team of them wrote and directed.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've checked this out yet, but True Detective season 4 started.
Oh yeah.
And episode 2 actually came out last night. This season so far has been absolutely fantastic, and I will say this season has a extreme horror element to it. So I think it fits this podcast brilliantly for this season. So
I'll tell you what, season 1 is one of my favorite television
That's
shows.
just because you pause it on one scene.
I mean, Daddario.
Prove me
Come
wrong.
on now.
Actually, no, but honestly, the first season, Woody Harrelson is one of my favorite actors, and him and Matthew McConaughey.
I didn't like the way it wrapped up and ended.
They had
but
a great
overall,
dynamic.
excellent.
Yeah, they had a great dynamic. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, all the seasons were good, but this season so far, Jodie Foster's the main person in this one.
Yeah,
and
that's right. Yep.
So far, both
they're in
episodes
the Arctic somewhere, right? Canada.
They're
Alaska
like
or something?
like 50 miles north of the Arctic Circle.
Okay.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun.
And it's your
All right,
favorite,
so-
30 Days a Night.
I love it. I love it. The Midnight Sun. Yes. So another one I got here, and this is coming from your girl there, Mike, Jenna Ortega, says that Beetlejuice 2 will be very, very little CGI in Beetlejuice 2.
That's good. Like, we're going back to practical
effects. I love it. I love it. So that's just a quickie. What else you got? Mike?
Well, listen, let me give you another. I got other things, but just while we're on that, Jenna Ortega also said season 2 of Wednesday is going to be. Jason's very mad. I stole his. Is going to be mainly horror. They're really diving into not with the W, with the H. Horror. So, that's exciting.
I mean, yeah, we won't go there. But I got another one for you about the mouse, the Mickey Mouse. He's coming out with a couple horror movies. What the fuck is up with that?
It's because the 80 years or whatever it is.
Yeah, the copyright laws.
Yes.
So the copyright laws for Mickey's Steamboat Mickey has run out, and they can't renew it. So it has to be in the design of Steamboat Mickey. And anybody can use it.
Public domain.
And there's supposed to be another one, too. They're talking there's another one.
I'm sure a whole bunch of people are going to jump all over.
Well, there's 2 Mickey Mouse horror movies that they were talking about.
Just imagine in the next 50 years where you're going to have, like, think of all the characters. Eventually, like, when we're, like, old and decrepit,
hit 100.
If we're still around, like, you're going to have, like, the Avengers horror movies, and you're going to have, like, it's just crazy. But it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right, here's another good one. So Fear Street 4 is on the docket, and it's going to be based off The Prom Queen, the book The Prom Queen from R.L. Stine.
I just like that they're making more. Because those 3, well, 2.5 of them were fantastic.
The third one was terrible.
Yeah, but the second half of the third one was good.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited that it's a Fear Street 4. What I liked about the first 3 was that slasher mentality, and the Prom Queen. I haven't read this one, but I just don't feel like it's going to be that slasher hunter.
I think they absolutely will. I think they'll
figure it out.
Unless they do a Carrie to it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
they could just do a prompt. They could do a prompt.
No. The last one that I have written down.
That's cool. I won't go.
I thought I was after Kirk.
Go ahead. You go and then come back to me. I'm fine with it.
I got one more. How many more do you got, Mike?
As many as you need.
Oh, wait a minute. You are after Kirk. My bad. Go for it.
Well, listen, it's okay. It's okay. I was excited about this one, though. So Jordan Peele, his new movie is going to be called GOAT. And Marlon Wayans is going to be the star of it. So that was announced.
Oh, I did see Marlon Wayans was going to be in one.
Was that yours, Jason?
You can never tell with these freaking titles.
Yeah, that was. It was, but it's okay. I have another one written down in case. So the one I had written down, but that was the one. But Founders Day finally is being released. I think it was just released on Friday. So
Kirk, you and I were supposed to see that at one of the Fort Lauderdale Film Fest,
right.
And we couldn't get down, or whatever it was. It was the wrong one.
The other day I got deathly ill sick.
Yes, Founders Day was one of the movies we were going to see that day.
It's too bad. So my last one I have here I thought was interesting and spoke to my heart. So Dwight Little. Do we know who Dwight Little is? Director of Halloween 4. Says he's interested and has the buy-in, obviously, from Danielle Harris in doing a TV pitch-style sequel to Halloween 4. So he is really pitching this right now to Peacock and all these different other owning rights. But his idea is the continuation off of Halloween 4 and see where Danielle Harris's character goes 30 years later, I guess.
I mean, sign me up for any Halloweens.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they'll get the mask right.
Well, God bless it. Let's hope so. I mean, the only thing with her is it's like you could do it as it was the next year because she's about the same size as she was in Halloween 4, so she hasn't grown up too much.
They go total orphan?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is, but they're pitching a TV series.
Orphan 3 is in the works.
I know. I know.
Let me give you my last one here. So, Guillermo del Toro is releasing a Frankenstein. I think everybody kind of knows about that. But Andrew Garfield was supposed to play Frankenstein. He has backed out, and now it is Jacob Elordi who Saltburn fame as of right now. If you haven't watched that, holy fucking shit.
Did you watch it?
Oh, I did. There are 3 to 4 scenes there's 4 scenes that will live in your head for a very, very long time.
I've almost pushed play on that like 3 or 4 times. I'm like,
it is, to be honest with you, I know this is, they are horrifying scenes, but the movie, and once you get to the end, the story is pretty bonkers and incredible. The problem is there's 4 scenes that I'm sure you've had to have heard of some of them by now, but I have no
knowledge.
Will live in your head for a while, and they're not stuff that you want in your head.
So maybe I don't need to watch this thing.
But Jacob Elordi is also one of the main douchebag characters on Euphoria, which I love that show. And
he was the one that was Joker, right? In that little cutscene from the last Batman.
Not that I don't think so.
Is he the main character of Saltburn?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the one.
He's one of the main characters of Saltburn.
What else was he in?
Euphoria. He just hosted Saturday Night Live this past week. I don't know if that helps.
What's his name?
Jacob Elordi, Elordi. You can look it up on your own time.
Laurie.
He's gonna look it up now, anyway.
I don't think that's
Jason. Is there anything while?
No, I am fresh out of the news.
Google Captain over here. So, well, that's our January edition of In the News. So fun stuff. There's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline for this. This is good.
Absolutely.
Kirk is still.
I'm Googling. Sorry. I'm almost there.
What is your internet? What is your internet? Like dial up? Like was there...
No. I typed in Jacob Saltburn. So I was thinking of Barry Kogan.
Yes. That's why I assume when you said the star that no, Jacob Elordi. So who kind of he already looks like Frankenstein. So
yeah, might be a good one.
All right, well, guys, I think it's time to put some time on the clock and head over to the main feature.
And now, on with the show.
Welcome back, and as previously discussed, Jason is kicking Kirk's and I's asses this year, 2-0, which means something this year. I don't think we're happy about it, but Jason took us back to 1985 with a Dario Argento film, Phenomena. But
you know what time it is.
It's time for you to charge your phone so that I don't have to keep track. But
I'm the sound effect guy.
Well, I guess we got that going. So, Jason, I have 30 seconds. Well, I have 0 seconds on the clock, but it's going to go to 30, and I think the world is really waiting to hear what you have to say about Phenomena.
I know I am.
So, the next word's out of your mouth.
Okay, so Jennifer is she goes to this like school out in the Swiss Alps. There's some kind of serial killer that's killing everybody in the school. She befriends this like scientist and his chimpanzee. She has like some kind of thing with the bugs that she can control these bugs and shit like that. Finds out who the killer is with these detectives and all this shit. And chaos does not ensue in this until the very end.
Okay, well. I was not ready for you to. You stopped at like 25 seconds. You still had 5 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
She controls bugs and shit. That's crazy.
Well, bugs with all those kinds of bugs, with that many amount of bugs that was on that screen, they shit. So
there would be a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, listen. I like to give you shit for that, but that's as good as it's going to get. I would assume with that.
Yeah.
But that also means that it's time for
Behind the Scream.
Okay, so Phenomena was released January 31st, 1985. It's an Italian giallo horror film directed and co-written by Dario Argento and starring Jennifer Connelly, Daria Nicolita, a bunch of names I can't pronounce, and the most famous Donald Pleasance. The plot concerns an American girl at a remote Swiss boarding school who discovers she has psychic powers that allows her to communicate with insects and uses them to pursue a serial killer who's butchering young women at and around the school. The film budget was over 6 billion in lire, which is 199 million, and raked in 2.7 billion lire, which is 89 million. After its release in Italy and the United States, the film was acquired for distribution by New Line Cinema, who released it on August 30th, 1985, under the alternative title Creepers. Creepers was released in the United States on VHS and Betamax in 1986 by Media Home Entertainment. By March 29th, Creepers entered Billboard's top video cassette rentals chart of all time. Phenomena had a huge rating of 7.4 on the Tromometer with critics and 6.7 with audiences, and IMDb gave it also a 6.7. So, talking a little facts with this movie, I had found some pretty interesting stuff. So Jennifer Connelly had her finger half bitten off by this chimpanzee, and they had to take her to the hospital to get this.
It's not funny, but I mean, what the fuck?
They had to rush her to the hospital to get her finger reattached. And ironically, this chimpanzee was very hostile towards her for the rest of the movie. Poor Jennifer.
What happened was, so I actually read on this. So what happened is they, at the end of the film, Dario Argento wanted the monkey facing forward, and he kept turning his body. So he's like, Jennifer, just put your hand on his shoulder and kind of hold him forward. That didn't work out too well for Jennifer.
No, not for production either. So this film was inspired to Argento after he learned that insects are sometimes used during murder investigations. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then obviously, our main, was it the antagonist in this movie, the killer that we learn at the end. So the disease that this kid has is called the Patau syndrome. It's used, in the movie is an actual syndrome. It's caused by a chromosomal abnormality. So those are the three facts I have. Mike or Kirk, do you have anything to follow up on?
The one I had was the Jennifer Connelly finger, and I knew
I actually read that one too, and I was excited if nobody took it, but it's so obvious. But I also like the fact that you had to say chromosome, whatever the word you just said.
Yeah, that was exciting.
That was chromosomal for me. Yeah.
You like
but the way you said it the first
Science
time
words.
was really fun.
Was it kind of sexy?
Kind of sexy.
I don't know if that's the word I'd go.
I mean, it's chromosomal.
It was something. It was something. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's dive in and talk about it here. So here at MVJ, we like to use a 1 to 10 rating system as we go through our categories here, with 1 being terrible and 10 being a masterpiece in each category. So Kirk, we always start with the story, and do you want to kind of talk through what that entails?
Yeah, so we're titling this Story Beats, and what the story beats is the story, the concept, and all the acts, especially the third act of the movie. So how did it all go together? How did it make you feel? How did it tie in? All those little nitpicky things that Mike likes to pick out. What got you the most?
So Jay, this is your movie again, so you get used to that. Off.
Yeah, so this one was a fun one. So basically, when we talk about the story, it's a very bizarre situation, this movie. It's bizarre. You got a healthy helping of insects, supernatural. It's kind of like a fairy tale in its own essence, if you ask me, in this like weird, bizarre, like backwards world. Go with me with this. And you got your crime, you got your serial killer, you got your... It's all over the fucking place, but it was fun.
That it is. It
was fun. It's Dario. It's Dario Argento.
Yeah, but Dario Argento also can put things together. Like this.
No, he can't.
No, he
this
can't.
movie. No, at times he can. Like
he
first off, this is
name me a time he does.
I don't know. I'd have to think of this, but
yeah,
doesn't it like every scene in this movie feels like it's 30 seconds too long? Every scene, like the beginning of the scene's either like so long and drawn out where they could have cut it out, or the very end of the scene. And I know some of that's Argento, but the pace of this is so awful, in my opinion.
See, I disagree with you because, I get it. There are, I disagree. I agree to disagree. So what I'm trying to say here is there are some times in this movie, there's some potholes. There's some things that are, drag a little bit, but I think it works. And you're kind of learning, like, it's almost like there's like 3 sub stories throughout this entire movie. You got the girls' school, you got the serial killer, and you got Jennifer Connelly's character who has this like abnormality thing with these bugs and insects and things like that. And it all comes together.
Wait, when does it come together? Sorry, Kirk. Go ahead. Kirk. I feel like Jason and I could take each other out on this.
Yes. So I'll. The best way to review this movie is to be as organized as you possibly can, because the movie's not. So my notes state it's a classic Dario Argento. So if you've watched and enjoyed Dario Argento, you'll watch and like Dario Argento. But it's a classic Dario Argento, makes you very uncomfortable, and it also sexualizes young women, weird dialogue, and very confusing artistic choices. And what I mean by sexualization of young girls, I'll give you let me set a scene for you. We have a strange little beetle that likes to spit on people, getting horny on Jennifer Connelly's fingers, and her and Donald Pleasance talking about how aroused this beetle was getting. That's the movie you're dealing with. That's Dario Argento. That's not out of the ordinary for Italian horror in the 80s. This is exactly what you think it's going to be.
And I have questions on, first off, they're at like this girls' school, and they just walk out the front door in the middle of the night 24/7. Like, nobody watches these girls. There's a killer on the loose that everybody knows about, but like nobody gives a shit, because like even Donald Pleasance is like, you need to get home. Like, it's the middle of the night, and he's like, here's a jacket. Get the fuck out of my house. You know what I mean? Like, nobody cares.
Good luck.
There's a weird narration 15 minutes into the movie
That's the 80s
never happens again. Like, it's like everything in this movie is so all over
to your
the
point,
place.
Mike, there's a line in this movie, and it's pretty early on, where they're like, she's like, yeah, my dad sent me here to be safe.
Yeah,
you're in a good school, but don't go into any other building. It's super dangerous.
Don't go anywhere outside of the building.
Don't wait. What? Like, those are almost 2 sentences apart.
And her dad is a famous movie star. He could send her anywhere in the world, but he sends her where there's a serial killer on the loose right now.
Maybe outside of zero. Maybe he knew about the bugs thing with her and didn't want that in the Americas, like ruining his movie career. I don't know. But I will say this. The best part of this movie is the third act. I think the third act I love the end of this movie. When she goes into the house, the detective gets attacked by the woman that you kind of suspect the whole time. What's that?
You don't see the woman. All of a sudden, he's in chains.
Well, you hear him scream, but you don't see it actually happen. But you see him all shackled up. She falls into that big pit of all the dead bodies and the bugs and shit like that. And then the reveal of like the kid with that syndrome we talked about. And you see.
So what do you think about the story and concept?
The story and concept? I already talked about that.
I know, but like, do you like the story? Did you like the actual concept of the 15-year-old girl that makes bugs horny?
It wasn't necessarily making bugs
doesn't
horny.
Make the bugs horny. The one did get horny on her, though. But
they were all kind of chirping.
I did, though.
So Jay, I'll come to you first here. 1 to 10. Where are you falling on?
I gave the story beats a 6. Like I said, for me, I like a Dario Argento movie. I love the bizarre. I love how he just takes things and just makes it his own world. I like the concept, and I said the third act of this was my favorite part. So, you know what? Let's go to Mike.
Oh, thanks. So I am not as high as you are in this. I gave it a 2. To be honest with you, I don't understand what works in this movie. I like the idea of this girl that can control bugs with their mind, and if they would have went with that story and even had the serial killer in there, and then there's like that's fine. But the extra shit in the chimpanzee, like, I mean, legitimately, it was like 10 pounds of shit in a 1 pound bag. Like, that's what it felt like, that they were just trying to add a bunch of just extra stuff for no good reason. So it gets a 2 from me.
Yeah, so Jason's given us these really hard movies to score, right? So Killer Clowns, we all agree that it's a cult classic, but it's a hard horror movie to score. So, how do we beat that? We go to Dario Argento, right? So you either love or hate Dario Argento. I struggle to get through Dario Argento movies. I just, like Suspiria, I've put that movie on probably 15 times and never made it through it. I'm right there with you, Mike. I'm at a 2. It's just not my cup of tea.
All right. So our next category here, we call it the ARC. And ARC stands for acting, relatability, and character development are our 3 things at play here. I'll kick us off on this one if you guys don't mind. I feel like, first off, Donald Pleasance I was very excited about in this movie. If there's ever a mailed-in performance as I've ever...
Do not make fun of... You can make fun of anyone else. Leave Donald alone.
His performance is terrible in this movie, but I don't even blame him. They didn't give him much to work with. He's in a wheelchair. They gave him an Irish accent for no good reason, and they kill him off midway through the movie. But so he's only in a couple different scenes. I think Jennifer Connelly did, I don't know how young she was and how many movies.
15.
So 15. Was it her first movie?
First ever.
Okay. I think for a first movie, being a lead actress, I think she does pretty well, especially getting her finger apparently gnawed off halfway through the movie or whatever. But I think she does well. But outside of that, who's developed? Who do you give a shit about? Even the main antagonist at the end comes out of nowhere. Wasn't even in the movie at all. So there really are no characters in this movie that you can really hang your hat on. It makes it tough. You know what I mean? It's not like the acting was bad. It's just the relatability and character development suffers poorly in this. What do you guys think?
Yeah. So I enjoyed Donald Pleasance, but I am a Donald Pleasance homer.
You thought he was Donald Pleasant?
I thought he was very Donald Pleasant. I did not agree with you with Jennifer Connelly. I thought she just was a pretty face floating around the screen, and I feel like the other characters were everyone in the school. That's just a singular character, and then the inspector. That was the original writing of the movie and what was supposed to be in it. That inspector was supposed to have a bigger part. Why he showed up in random places was supposed to be less random than it was. But that being said, I really like Donald Pleasance. I thought he did a good job, but I don't know if I'm a good judge of that because I'm a Donald Pleasance homer, like I said. Yeah, you're right. Yes, everything else, you're right. It just, there isn't really characters. There's people saying things and people teasing people and surprise, this mutant child. It was so bizarre and all over the place, which, to my story beats point, it's a Dario Argento movie. That's just what he does. Either love or hate it. And I think Dario above me here, or Jason above me here, is gonna tell us how much he loved it.
Ironically, I'm not. So no.
You like Donald Pleasance, though. You just have to say nice things about Donald.
For the ARC, I'm with you guys on this one. So I think, Kirk, you said it the best. This is Dario Argento. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get, in a lot of his movies, you get a lot of clumsiness. This movie, I think, was probably this is my favorite movie he's ever done. But the acting, if you take big names like Donald Pleasance and even we'll say a first time Jennifer Connelly out this movie, I probably give this thing a 0 for the acting. That's how bad it is. I'm giving it a benefit of the doubt because at least it has a Donald Pleasance who kind of carried a little bit of this movie. And I think Jennifer Connelly did do a very nice job for being her first role and kind of being put into that Dario Argento bizarre world. It's kind of tough to do at 15 years old, especially in an Italian film. So that's kind of where I sit with that.
Yeah, I think we can rate this here. So this, I guess, starts with me. I'm a 2 again, and that's me being nice. I think, like I said, I didn't hate Jennifer Connelly in this movie, but it's also one of those where if everybody is so bad, you think somebody's good. But if you compared it to something else, you might think that was bad as well. So, Kirk, where are you on this one?
Yeah, so Donald Pleasance was my first place actor in this. He was definitely the best. My second place actor is definitely the monkey. So if that tells you anything about where my mind is.
I like the monkey in this movie.
I like the monkey.
I did too. I thought he was pretty good when he was freaking out trying to get in there and save him.
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt bad for the monkey.
I did feel that, yeah.
He sounded very upset. So he's probably biting the girl's finger off at the time. They just put that in the ADR. But no, so I gave this a 3. I was a little bit higher on Donald than you were, but I was lower on everybody else, I guess. So I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I think the monkey went straight to Dead Alive after this. But anyway, I'm a 2. This did not do it for me. With
I'm the highest on this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah. I'm a solid 2 here.
All right, so that takes us solid 2. That's my favorite line. Visual appeal, Kirk. What is visual appeal for our third category?
Visual appeal is going to be our effects, our visuals, our cinematography, our gore, just everything that was kind of flowing into all the other categories. We're wrapping up and putting into this one. So it's everything that you see on the screen.
What'd you think of it, Kirk?
So, all right, like I said, when doing a Dario Argento movie, it's best to stay organized. So I put very artistic. You either love or hate Dario Argento. The dead body pool was gross. So those are my comments that I wrote down while watching the movie. It just was weird effects, lighting effects. The way they did the bugs in the sky were coffee grounds and water. It's a very interesting look to a movie. It's very Dario Argento if you've seen his other movies. I've seen some.
What's Giallo? I mean, that's the direction that it is, and you gotta. I mean, to your point, right? You gotta like that movie, like the beheading at the end, where it kind of looks cheesy, but it kind of look like that was
like my favorite part of the whole movie.
Right, but that's a giallo, like that is specific, like that visual of it. I'm with you. Like I thought the lightning bugs. Actually, I wrote down lightning bug - stupid, because they looked so bad. But this just doesn't do anything. Like there's nothing that like I hang my hat on. The boy looks, one way or another with it, that looks interesting, but I don't know. It didn't do a lot for it. Jay, you're shaking your head at me. Like, tell me why I'm wrong.
Okay.
We're wrong.
I'll tell you why you're both wrong. I think the effects in this are really good.
Include me in the wrong.
I mean, honestly, I think the effects are really good. There are definitely some really outdated effects. But I think there's a lot of gruesome makeup in this. The practical effects I think are really good. I think the insects, the whole insect concept was great. How they used them, and Kirk, you talked about the coffee with the water and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool practical effect. When you look at the visuals, it's very dark and mysterious. I love the Swiss Alps. You got that in the background the whole time. The cinematography in this movie, I think, does absolute justice, throughout, especially in the foothills and, through the town. Even some of the buildings that they went through, you got some of that very old culture, which I thought was really cool. And you had gore. You did have your Dario Argento gore throughout the movie in different ways. So I disagree with you guys. I think this visual appeal was very appealing.
I think when they're on the way in, it's visually appealing, but once you get there, there isn't much. It's inside of rooms, and just I don't know.
They didn't use a lot of the Alps. Not to toot my own horn here. I was just in the Swiss Alps, and I was just in a lot of these areas that they're talking about.
I just walked the Alps. I didn't see no fucking chimpanzees.
I didn't see anybody get their
see
head
anybody have their head fall down a waterfall.
No, I sure wish it did.
Was there a Lady of the Flies out there?
No,
Lady of the Flies.
Not. But they were all speaking German, and they were speaking German in this movie, and sometimes Italian. But they, like Mike says, it's a lot of in buildings. Like you're in the schoolhouse, you're in Donald Pleasant's little laboratory, you're in this weird house that the bug is taking her to, which didn't even do the job. It went to the old house. The bodies weren't even whatever. I don't know. None of that made sense to me. We already said that this movie didn't make much sense. What are we talking about? Visual appeal, right? So the visual of this movie is a Dario Argento Italian horror. It just that's what they look like. This is what they are.
So where are you ranking this now?
Oh, I'm ranking first. Boop, boop. All right, visual appeal. I'm at a 3. It's tough. It was a tough one. The dead body pool. I'm all about it. That
actually was cool. Yeah, it was cool.
That was freaking gross.
That was cool.
That gets all 3 of the points for me.
That was cool. Jay, where are you on visual appeal?
I'm a 6. I think the visual appeal in this movie, like I said, it is very appealing to me. I enjoyed it throughout. The scenery, the practical effects. I thought it was done good. What about you, Mike?
Well, listen, I equal one of you, and then if you put me and that other person together, we equal you, Jay. So I'm a 3 as well. That's 3 plus 3 equals 6. So
math.
It's yeah, math is tricky. The math ain't mathin'. No, I wanted to be higher here, and I went back and forth on a couple things, but I just couldn't. I couldn't in this.
Like the head in the box is cool. The pool, that dead body pool is cool. And like you said, there's a few things I kind of dug, but the pole coming through the girl's face, through her mouth, and all, there's some cool things.
There's a scene or two.
There was enough that pulled me way down.
But I couldn't. So, number 4 for us comes down to sound design. And for sound design, there's a lot of things that go into sound design. So the quality of the audio, the soundtrack, which could come into play here. Anything that is sound related, the dubbing, the audio, right? So
mixing
all
effects,
things sound. I know you guys just probably were getting giddy with Iron Maiden in here, the randomness of it.
Don't throw me into that.
Okay.
Don't put that on me, Ricky
Your
Bobby.
name on the screen, you can't spell Maiden. We learned that, but it's what.
Let's not say that on the podcast.
Okay.
Let's just keep that in the air.
Jay, you love Iron Maiden.
I love Iron Maiden.
So why did Iron Maiden make sense for this movie?
Have you watched any
This
Dario
Italian
Argento movie?
I've seen
Every single Dario Argento movie, he's got a soundtrack full of heavy metal, famous heavy metal. This one, obviously, the score was Iron Maiden. There's a lot of Motorhead in this, but the silent but deadly part of this movie with the soundtrack was a band called Goblin. And Goblin, they do a lot of the music for Dario Argento. Like they're one of the most famous. They have a very famous one that came out of Suspiria that you hear all the time. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But it's beautiful.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember either.
Like all the synthesizing music that you hear through, like the one part where she's following the lightning bug and that music's playing in the background. That's Goblin. So that's
I want to say I actually like if it's that I can't remember, but it's at the very beginning too, and I really actually enjoyed that soundtrack in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for me, that's the problem I had with this was the music does not match the scenes, and then on top of that, the music is so loud at times. Like you have these quiet scenes, and then and I don't know if it was audio quality, if that's just how it was mixed, or if that's what they wanted. But you have this quiet scene, and then they just drill you with this loud music that doesn't make sense over the scene, and I was confused.
Those old Italian movies, I think the sound design, the sound mixing is always a little bit weird. And also the copy I watched, their lips didn't match what they were saying. Mm-hmm. It didn't follow that well. And then mine a couple times switched into Italian. Did your guys' jump over to Italian?
No, mine didn't do Italian, but the words were awful because I thought maybe they were speaking a different language and it was English dub. But then I'm like, Jennifer Connelly is not speaking,
Right. My wife came in and was like, oh, they're not speaking English. What are they speaking? I'm like, no, they're speaking English. It's just mistimed. So that's part of the mixing. That's part of the job of mixing the audio, the Italian thrown in, the Iron Maiden in there. Though I thought it was cool. I was like, wait a minute. I had to Google search the song. I was like, that's Iron Maiden. I'm pretty sure.
See, I listen. I have to watch movies with the words across the bottom, and luckily it came on and it said Iron Maiden, and then it started, the thing, and I'm like, aha, I know exactly what
was this on Freevee or something?
Yeah,
like that? I think I watched it.
I watched on Screenbox. So
yeah, I watched it on Screenbox as well.
I watched it on Freevee,
which is
often,
why you had maybe the Italian.
Yeah.
Screenbox had their shit together.
Yes, they did.
And all of a sudden, Jennifer Connelly would be screaming at somebody in Italian. It'd be like, oh, she must have been really passionate about
was
that.
Was she like, oh, ho, ho.
Yeah, kind of.
Let me get my bugs. my bugs will attack you.
My bugs. Why is this bug all horny on me? I don't know.
My bug come with a pasta. Listen, we just lost a lot of followers.
All the Italians that are
we apologize. It's just
that was the version Creepers.
Yeah, I was watching the Creepers version. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so I'll say this last thing. I think the scores in this, with the mixing, everything, I think it truly intensifies the suspense throughout this movie. So that's where I kind of differ from your opinion, Mike. I think, I know you said the soundtrack doesn't really match a lot of the scenes. I disagree. I think it intensifies the suspense. I think the music is played in the right spots, and I think it actually, the right songs and the right parts of the songs are actually played in the right spots.
The Iron Maiden sections were absurd. I chuckled a few times.
Some of those were Motorhead.
I like sometimes where it's like really quiet and then all of a sudden like they blast music in some movies. It just, for whatever reason in this one, and maybe it's because I was so confused at what the fuck was going on that but anyways, Jason, we're back to you to score first. Where are you on sound design?
Well, sound design, this is actually it's obviously getting a 6.5 for me on this one, just because I love heavy metal. I love heavy metal. Yeah, 6.5. Love it.
You got it. I think it's full scores now.
It's whole numbers.
It's full.
Oh, we're not doing halves?
No, that's
whole numbers.
All right, we'll go 6.
Oh, so I see you rounded down. I see what
you were a sad 6.5.
I was a sad 6.5.
It was. Well, I'm a happy 2. That's where, like I said, it just doesn't make sense most of the time. The 2 though is for that that one score that Jay you were talking about. I really dug it, and it's slow and it's building up. The problem is it's building up to what? I don't know, because nothing. I don't know. Iron Maiden.
So it definitely sounded like my my version was a little different than yours. Since we're scoring this 1 to 10 and not 0 to 10, I gave this a 1. Now the lips matched, got Italian from time to time, and I thought some of the music selections, which is classic Dario Argento and Italian horror, but I don't like it, so it gets a 1.
Man, breezy in his own island.
You are standing on your own. So Jason, that takes us to the 5th and final one, which is Carnage. And what does Carnage entail?
So basically with Carnage, this is where we talk about the kills. We get a little bit more into what's the mayhem that's going on throughout these movies, I should say. And are we entertained? Are we having fun?
Are you not entertained? Yes. Kirk, what did you think of the Carnage?
So this movie, I mean, we're talking about the third act, what Jason liked. It gets a little wild because it's like a whole different movie, right? You get this setup of this schoolgirl and this random killer to the caretaker or whoever that woman is. I have no idea who she is. Takes her to her house, and she lives in this house of horrors that has cages and I don't know. Finally the inspector catches up. He gets his butt kicked. Who knows why? She finds a secret passage. It's just off the rails, is what it is. I did think falling into the
rails.
Yeah,
I do think that dead body pool was really cool and gross, and it looked like oatmeal all in there or something like that, which kind of gave me the heebies. My favorite part was the decapitation of that random friend that showed up. Morris, like they made this big thing where he tried to call her, and then he's driving out there and he goes to the school, and then he's going over here, and it's just like, I felt decapitation. Like it just was so unexpected.
Have you ever seen I'm gonna date myself. It's with the kids though, where it's like it's a new thing where it's like don't let them know your next move, and they record videos where you think they're gonna do something, but they do something completely random. Have you?
I have not seen.
So if you Google it, it's like never let them know your next move. So you think they're gonna, like I said, that you think it's going one direction, it goes a different direction.
Sounds like life.
I felt like the final 10 minutes of this movie was just one long video of don't let them know your next move, because it's like this little kid comes out. Well, first you get like the lady that like it doesn't even make sense why she's the killer, and then you have like this little kid out of nowhere, and then you have the little weird boy.
Is she the killer or the kid the killer?
Kid's the killer.
No, she's the one that killed the Donald Pleasance dude.
No,
she said it.
She's tall enough.
Yeah, he was too small to do that.
I thought it was the kid that was doing the killing throughout the whole thing.
This is the problem.
This is our point.
But like the little weird boy comes out, and then all of a sudden he's eaten by bugs, and then Morris comes, and all of a sudden he's beheaded, and then as soon as she's about to stab Jennifer Connelly's character, a monkey comes out of fucking nowhere and stabs her. It was like literally just batshit crazy.
You forgot about the explosion on the lake that finally killed the kid.
Yeah,
after
I mean, it was all over the place. I really enjoyed, Jay. You talked about it in the story. I don't think it's the whole third act, but the final 5 to 7 minutes of this movie, it at least makes you go, all right, I watched it for something.
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's some fun carnage throughout. And like I said, I wish they would have done more with the bugs. They have her like channel them on the boy. It'd been cool if she, would have like kind of went crazy in there and, terrorized the school and the teachers or something, for making fun of her. Something in there would have been fun.
Yeah.
But,
and I'll say this real quick. Like, I mean, you guys pretty much hit a lot of what I had to say. One thing I will ask, I'm going to ask you gentlemen a question here. Why is it in all these 80s horror movies, or even a lot of these horror movies, the inspector or the police officer is always getting their fucking asses kicked by these old women that are like part of the killing squad or something like that? It just seems like I just don't get it. You're a police officer, but you get your fucking ass kicked every single time by this old lady. And
he didn't take her as the killer, so he let his guard down.
Yeah, but we didn't even see him let his guard down.
I think that was the first off, you're both right, but I think that was like, now we have the final girl and like, like some of the tropes. I think that's an older trope of you trust
cracks
the
me
elderly.
up though. It just cracks me up, that's all. But anyway,
I don't even know who she was.
That's just, like she
was
wasn't in any of the movies.
Yes, she was. Was
she the girl that picked her up at the very beginning?
Yeah, and she was also the headmistress, or what the
No, the headmistress.
No, she wasn't the headmistress.
No. She was the headmistress's like secretary that was always with her.
Oh,
she was with her in every scene. The headmistress.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shit,
yeah.
I feel like I missed out on that.
Yeah,
at the end, I'm like,
one.
who is this lady picking her up from the bus stop? And obviously,
Yep.
I know she's the not who she says.
Yeah, she picked her up and then was going to take her at the end, and obviously took her back to the house. But she was also in a lot of those scenes in the school with the headmistress.
And let's get this straight. There's a killer on the loose. Shit's going off the rails. She wants to use the phone. She unplugs it and then replugs it back into another room. And she's not like, okay, I need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
She just is like, oh, you took my phone away.
Yeah.
Like the stakes were high at that moment because it was obviously she was connected or was the killer. And the reaction of our characters didn't match, which confused me.
So for Carnage,
but I did like the decapitation.
For Carnage, it comes to me first here. This is my highest category because there are some fun scenes, and when mayhem hits, it does hit in this movie. I'm a 6 here. I thought, I thought about going a little bit lower, but I also think like I want to applaud. At least it ends with me going, oh, okay. Like if they would have put that at the beginning of the movie, and I would have had to sit through the rest of that shit, it would have been, completely different. So I'm a 6 there. Kirk, where do you fall?
Yeah, so I'm a 5 here. I really liked the decapitation. I thought that dead body pool was cool. It just creeped me out the whole time she's swimming around in it and can't figure out how to swim to an edge and get her butt out. But all that was gross, and it just wildness. I would say it's more fun than mayhem because I was laughing quite a bit, and the decapitation surprised me more than almost any other kill in any movie ever. I didn't see that coming. I should have probably. But I gave it a 5.
All right. Yeah, I'm right with you. I gave this a 6. I said this earlier. The third act for me in this movie was my favorite part of the whole movie, which obviously sounds like was your guys' as well, because it was your highest rating. So I'm glad that we at least agreed on 1 out of 5 categories. So
I think we agree on this entire movie. It just
no, I don't
like
think
it
so.
Or not. No. I think we all saw the same thing. I think
no. I think Jason
enjoyed Dario Argento
I think Jason
movies.
liked it a lot more than we did.
I think I liked it a lot more.
We all
liked it a lot, but you saw what we saw.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Kirk. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
So while I am seeing the numbers on the paper, I'm going to kick it back to you guys. You have a chance to do a bonus 1 to 10 or take away 1 to 10 points before we final tally this score.
So I actually wanted to give this movie a bonus. I wanted to give it rounded up to a nice round number, so I gave it a 3 for using Donald Pleasance. Give me some more Donald Pleasance in my life. I gave it 3 more points to try to round it off for me.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, did you go any bonus?
I did no bonus on this one.
All right,
you can give it a half because you tried to give it a half early. Put that half back in.
That's where you can put that half in. I did not give it any bonus points either. Nothing's really off the grid here. Maybe most likable chimpanzee, but I decided not to go that way. So
I don't think Jennifer Connelly agrees.
So, Jason, you scored this the highest. You were obviously you were a 26 out of 50, which equals a 5.2 on the scale.
The
Kirk,
Richter scale.
Average.
You were second. You scored this with your bonus points, a 17 out of 50, which takes us to a 3.4. And
that's incorrect.
It's not.
I got myself at a 3.0 out of 10.
I got a 3.7.
You had a 2,
5,
a 3,
6, 7, 8.
a 3, a 1. So
2,
that equals
3,
9
3,
plus
1,
5 is
5.
14 plus 3 is 17.
You can see how many times I rearranged these scores because I just was like,
So you are a nice round 3.4 is what you are, a nice round.
Whatever.
But speaking of 3.0.
Nice job, Iron Man.
That's
I had 102 temperature all last week, and I watched this movie delirious. So
that's probably the best way.
I say it's the best way to watch this.
Yeah, you thought it would be better.
I am the definition of a round number, Kirk, and I was a 3.0 on the nose because Kirk did not want to give this a 3.4, but he did. So we're sticking to it.
It's still right there.
We're sticking to it.
It's right there.
What's funny is if you don't give bonus points, you're at a 2.8. So you would have had to give one bonus point. But
I gave 3 bonus points.
I know that's why you're at a 3.4. That's how it works. But 3 bonus points, double 6. I'm not going to explain the math to you. You're at 3.4. I can explain it afterwards and even show you. They're all written down.
If any of our listeners wants to chime in on any of our social media and fill out the math for these gentlemen, please do.
I mean, you don't have to fill out for me. I know exactly what I'm staring at.
It's still the debate.
Carried to 2, multiply by pi. Yes. So our number. So Jason, when you said this at the beginning with Behind the Screen, this is like a 6 to 7 on average movie. Yeah. And Jay, you're at the highest at a 5.2. So shows you none of us were a huge fan of it, but Jason thinks it's slightly above average. And Kirk and I think it's.
I've seen this movie a few times.
I can honestly say I will never see this movie again. Intentionally.
I've never seen it before, so yeah. This is my first time.
This is good. It was the first time. It was definitely a first time for me as well. But that I watched it before.
Mm-hmm. We watched it. We watched it on Big Chuck and Little John.
Shows you. I happily forgot it then. So that ends our trip to 1985, and it's now time to look ahead and take a ride on the Devil's Wheel. For our Devil's Wheel portion of events, what we each do is we take 3 movies, we put it all on a wheel. We then have one extra slot on there for the Devil's Pick, which we then spin, and whatever it lands on, that is the movie we watch next week. Now, if it lands on the Devil's Pick, it goes to a random generator controlled by Kirk, where AI, I don't know who it is out there, will randomly choose the movie we watch. The only thing is it has to be, from the modern era, no black and white movies. And we can't have reviewed it before because what fun would that be? But before we can spin
a big
the
one
wheel,
too.
Yes,
it's a big spin.
It is a big spin. Well, yeah, shoot. I even forgot about that. It's a big spin because Jason is up 2-0, and the winner of each month gets an extra slot on the wheel next month. And if Jason wins today, Kirk and I,
set.
We already can't win. It's either going to be the Devil or Jason. There is no there is no
we can
win
cancel
here.
him. We can cancel him out, or we're giving Jason the advantage in a short month.
We would be. And Jason's already done so well. Jason, you were the only one obligated to make a change. So what are your 3 movies so that we can spin this wheel?
Man, all these wins over the last 6 months. I'm running out of movies here. No, I'm just kidding. But
the weight of the world on my shoulders.
I know, man. I'm like getting kind of heavy here. But so we kept
new rule to points, and the monthly points is it has to average between the three of us over a 5 to
qualify.
To count, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
To qualify, it has to average. So,
Sorry, Jay.
So go ahead.
I'm fucked in every week.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry. Actually, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
None of us like
Yeah.
each other's movies.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Well, Kirk and I have the
me and
closest
Jason.
to each other.
Yeah,
That's
you
about
guys
it.
are
Yes.
close every once in a while. All right, what are your 3?
All right, so sticking with street. Oh my god, I can't talk today. With street
Tweet
trash, tweet trash.
Tweet.
With street trash from 1987. That's the film that I've never seen. Last week I threw on Chud. We're gonna keep that bad boy on there from 1984.
John Candy
Yeah, John Candy.
and John Candy.
No, no, it was Daniel
What's his
Stern.
face from Roseanne.
Daniel
This
Stern.
is like a Dario Argento version of The Wheel. Like, just what the fuck
No,
is going
somebody's
on?
in it.
I am so confused.
Daniel Stern's in it, but
No, somebody big. I'm gonna fight.
But anyway,
What's your third one?
the last one I put on, Mike actually brought this up last week on his
John Goodman.
bottom 5. Our first 5 for the. See, I lost my
ratings.
track.
Our
I thought,
top
yeah.
50, my top 50 ratings. Yes.
But Spring. From guess what year, guys?
Spring.
Guess what year?
2014.
It's got to be the 1984
2014.
version of it.
2014. I put a 2014 movie on.
I mean, it's not going to win.
So be
I
it.
wouldn't mind if it won. It's a nice movie. Kirk, what are your 3 movies?
Yeah, mine stays the same. So I got The Empty Man from 2020. I have not seen that movie. I got The Ninth Gate from 1999, and I got Death Note from 2017.
All right, and my 3 movies are staying the same. 13 Ghosts is my movie that I've never seen. We're keeping Strangers Pray at Night until it wins because there's a new Strangers coming out in May. By then, hopefully it's won. And then PG Psycho Gorman is on there as well because I don't know if I like it and I need to revisit it. But let's find out which of Jason's movies is winning for a third time.
We can't have Jason. We need the
The wheel is spinning.
I hope I want that extra spot next week or next month.
You still probably will get it, but it can't be this week. Give me one more week of. Oh, come on! Don't give me that face.
I mean, this is just crazy, Jason.
No,
Jason wins again, and we're going to be watching Spring, which he just put on the wheel
I
here.
jinxed myself. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm the one that said it wasn't going to win, and guess what I did?
So that
So Jason,
automatically
pick 4 movies.
that
for,
automatically locks Jason in at the beginning of February. Jason will get 4 movies on the wheel. Now he can choose 4 different movies, or he can double one up if he really wants to watch it. He can put it on there twice.
The only requirement is one movie has to be unseen.
You got it. Yep.
Right. Okay.
So, 3 movies. He has to have 3 different movies, but the one movie, one has to be unseen. But he can put 4 movies on there if he wants. So, Jason, congratulations. At this rate,
Clean sweep.
You will never lose another week again. And you know what's funny is because the next one, if it clicked over one more, is going to be Street Trash. There was no winning in this whatsoever. So we'll just keep shuffling the wheel like we do every single week, and eventually Jason will lose. But 2014, we're taking a trip, and we're watching the movie Spring, which did make my top 50 list.
Number 46, right?
40. Yeah, I'd have to look at it, but obviously, you know, it was close to top 50. I mean, it was like 48 or 47. I don't know. So that
It was number 46.
But I've never sat down and rated the movie. I just know how I felt after watching the movie, and I had pleasant feels. So
He's prefacing it. He's already prefacing his
I'm
top
saying
50.
I might go ham on this puppy now, but it is where it is on the list already. So we will reconvene, same bat time, same bat channel, and talk all things Spring, one of everybody's favorite seasons. I'm sure somebody has to like it. So anyways, so that is episode 148. As always, we appreciate anybody that's been rocking with us, whether it's one episode or all 148 so far. 3 main ways to speak with us each week. We have Instagram, which you can go on there. We have a YouTube channel, which is always being updated with lots of goodies. But the easiest way, we have a Facebook horror group that you can join, MVJ Horrorcast, right? Am I right?
MVJ Horror.
Like, how can somebody mess it up religiously every single week?
Yeah, it'd be like weird, like messing up a band name's how to spell their name or something. It's weird.
Listen, you're a John Madden fan. That's
he
was part of like
must be a Steelers fan too.
I don't know, but look forward to the next week. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys, craziness. We have our first sponsor. That I didn't tell you guys this. Our sponsor, it's for like a sleep aid. It's Phenomena. So that is our sponsor. And with that, guys, I'll see you next week.